Hi, everybody. This is Carlos with the Sunday School lesson. Wonderful lesson this week. Wonderful lesson. A very, very serious lesson, but a wonderful lesson. And it is entitled The Suffering of the King. And again, don't forget this unit is what the prophets foretold. So here we have our prophets, Jeremiah and Zechariah. And the verses for this week are going to be Jeremiah 23, 5 through 6, Zechariah 6, 9 through 15, and John 19, 1 through 5. Okay, what the prophets foretold. So here we have the harmony of the Bible again, where we have Jeremiah and Zechariah foretelling the coming of the King, and then John, the beloved disciple, the disciple that Jesus loved. He's going to talk about some pretty dastardly events. Okay, so let's get started. First, let's get started with prayer. Dear Father, please help me to help them and help them to help me. Amen. All right, Jeremiah 23 and 5. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. A righteous branch. So who could that righteous branch be? Of course, you have a clue. We'll raise unto David, so it's going to be in David's line. And then there's the righteous branch. The righteous branch is Jesus. And if you don't believe me, let's look at verse 6. In his days, Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name, whereby he shall be called the Lord, our righteousness. I'm not yelling at you to be, I'm not yelling at you to be unrighteous. I'm yelling at you because it's in all caps. It's literally in all caps in the Bible. So that would tell us that the Lord really wants us to get to know him. And you look at the Hebrew translation for the Lord our righteousness, that's that word, that's that compound words for God. And this one is Jehovah Sekatana. Jehovah Sekatana, the Lord our righteousness. And recall you have Jehovah Nisei, the Lord our banner. And then you have Jehovah Rapha, the Lord that heals. You have Jehovah Shiloh, the Lord of peace. I love how it's the Lord our righteousness, and the Lord my shepherd, the Lord my banner, the Lord my shepherd is Jehovah Ra'ah. He just is. He just is our righteousness. He just is our provider. That's Jehovah Jireh. He just is this. There's nothing we can do to make him become that. He already is that. There's nothing we can do to make him be our provider. He already is our provider. There's nothing we can do to make him our righteousness. Just accept that he is. He just is. And really, whether we accept that he is or not, he's still going to be our righteousness. But what a wonderful opportunity. Oh, Jesus, please, those who don't know God, don't know him, please, I beg of you, get to know him. What a wonderful, awesome God that we serve. Continuing. Zechariah 6 and 9. So Jeremiah is a prophet, just like Zechariah. Both are encouraging the Israelites after the Babylonian captivity. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, take of them of the captivity, even of Heldai, Tobijah, and Jedediah, which are come from Babylon, and come thou the same day, and go into the house of Josiah, the son of Zephaniah. Then take silver and gold, and make crowns, and set them upon the head of Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest. Wonderful here. So how great is it to have your name even mentioned in the Bible? I mean, look at these Hebrew men out of captivity, Heldai, Tobijah, Jedediah. They became part of the the priestly story, the kingly story, first beginning with Joshua, and then I don't want to give it away, and then later on a different king. Joshua being the leader that came after Moses to lead the Israelite people into the promised land. All right, verse 12. And speak unto him, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, Behold, the man whose name is the branch, and he shall grow up out of his place, and he shall build the temple of the Lord. Wow, that's a lot to be said about Joshua. You know, it's somewhat right in that Joshua is another word for Yeshua, which is Jesus. But in this case, we're not talking about Joshua. We're not talking about Joshua, the son of Josedek here. We're talking about the branch. Look how branch is capitalized. Every word, every letter is capitalized. We're talking about Jesus. And Jesus is going to be that branch, that sprout, if you will, that comes out of David's lineage. 13, even he shall build a temple of the Lord, and he shall bear the glory, and he shall sit and rule upon his throne, the priest upon his throne. This is just, this is lofty stuff here. You need to highlight this. A priest upon the throne. Who could be both king and priest? Jesus. Yeah, we talked about it a couple Sundays ago. He's both priest and king. He brings it together. So the foreshadowing, so back in Jeremiah, when we had these evil priests and evil leaders, and they were just being corrupt, Jesus is going to be the person that puts all this in order, both on the priestly side and the kingly side. He is our Redeemer. He is our righteousness. Jehovah Sekatana. Verse 14, and the crown shall be to Halem, and to Tobijah, and to Jedediah, and to Hen, the son of Zephaniah, for a memorial unto the temple of the Lord. Wow, so these Hebrew guys got mentioned twice in the Bible. What a joy. And so then the crown now becomes a memorial. So these crowns, the crown that was first to be placed on the head of Joshua, now becomes a memorial for this temple of the Lord. Now, this temple here, this is talking about the millennial temple. This is not a physical temple anymore. We're talking about millennial things. Once we started in verse 13, we're talking about millennial temple when Jesus comes back as that mighty, mighty king. Verse 15, and they that are far off shall come and build in the temple of the Lord, and ye shall know that the Lord of hosts has sent me unto you. And this shall come to pass if you will diligently obey the voice of the Lord your God. Again, we're talking about the millennial kingdom here, and they that are far off. What a wonder! What a wonderful opportunity. That means everyone's going to have the opportunity to enjoy the blessings of Jesus Christ, the Lord of hosts, and all this shall come to pass if you will diligently obey. Now, that's not to say that we have anything that anyone can stop Jesus is coming back again. That's not what that means. What that's saying is, if we want to be a part of these blessings, we just need to obey the voice of the Lord. We just need to be obedient. And with this obedience, so much comes. What a wonderful opportunity. What a wonderful, wonderful blessing that's coming our way. All right, so then we shift to John 19:1. Then Pilate therefore took Jesus and scourged him. This scourged, I looked that up. This is diabolical, y'all. This is being beaten with leather, with spikes hanging out of it, either glass or bone. It was literally cutting into his flesh. Verse 2, and the soldiers platted a crown of thorns and put it on his head, and they put on him a purple robe. So they were mocking him. These soldiers were mocking him Oh, that they would have known that this was really the king. Oh, that they would have really crowned him as he really should have been. Look at the similarity between this and Zechariah 6 and 11, where it talks about the crown that they put on Joshua. Interesting, the crown that was put on Joshua and the crown that will be memorial for Jesus, has gold and has all of these jewels in them, as rightly they should, in stark contrast to this crown of thorns. All right, verse 3. And said, Hail, King of the Jews! And they smote him with their hands. So they hit him, and they... Wow. King of the Jews. If only they would have known he's not just the King of the Jews. He's the King of all. But as is normally the case with haters and those that are mocking, boy, they really don't know who they're dealing with. And it's really a pity. But Jesus, he could have easily stopped all of this. I mean, he was still King of Kings and Lord of Lords, even though he was in the human form. He could have stopped it, but for our sake, he endured all of this turmoil. Verse 4, Pilate therefore went forth again and said unto him, Behold, I bring him forth to you, that ye may know that I find no fault in him. Pontius Pilate was a prefect of the Roman city-state of Judea, and he's a politician, but I like to think he's, this is heartfelt. I mean, he knows that Jesus had done no wrong, and I think he's really trying to appeal to these Jewish leaders and to the people that, hey, listen, this is a righteous man that we're punishing here. Verse 5. Then came Jesus forth, wearing the crown of thorns and a purple robe, and Pilate said unto him, Behold the man. I think that was another plea from Pilate to try to get some mercy for this man that's been so wrongly accused. And but I don't have that much sorrow for Pilate, because he's still a politician. Look, he could have at any point stopped this. I mean, I believe our Jesus would have still been crucified. I mean, he had to do that for us. He wanted to do, because of the love that God has for us. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. So he was going to do this for us, but it didn't have to be at the hand of Pilate. And the reason why it was at the hand of Pilate, and why even though he knew this was wrong, he didn't want to give up his office. I mean, he's a politician. So what does that tell us? I think that in every man, in every woman's life, there comes a time when you have to choose what is right over what is expedient, or what keeps you in power, or maybe even what continues to help you to be gainfully employed. I mean, sometimes you just are faced with these kind of moral dilemmas. And rather than put someone have them unjustly beaten, be it physically or verbally, or wrongly accused, or wronged in any way, I would pray that you would stand up for the person, and I would pray that you would not do as Pontius Pilate here and go along with the program. That's my prayer. Okay, let's answer some questions. Just a few. How would the rule of the righteous branch differ from that of the king of Jeremiah's day? So you got to know the beginning of Jeremiah in this 23rd chapter. It starts with woe unto those pastors, and pastors here means religious leaders, and it also means it also in this case means civil leaders. And the difference is that Jesus, remember, Jehovah Sakatana, is our righteousness, so he'll be a righteous leader. That's the difference in the branch. What symbolic act was Zechariah to undertake? He was to get this gold and gems from the gold and silver from the Hebrew men, and to create this king so that he can put it on Joshua as a symbolic act. All right, and then lastly, how would you evaluate the actions of Pontius Pilate? So I went in great detail about that, and no need to prolong that. I pray that you got something out of the lesson today. This was a very solemn lesson, but a very, very wonderful lesson, because it gave us a glimpse into the love of Jesus, that he would endure all of that pain for us. What love is this? What love? What great love. So, as always, look, when you need help, give me a call, give me a write, use that Facebook, send me an IM. If you need prayers or whatever, we're here to help you. God bless and thank you.